What's up, YouTube? It's the Moorish Trucker demonstrating love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice here, there, and everywhere. Oh man, it is your best interest to be a friend of mankind, and it is mankind's interest to be a friend of you. Trans Am, 120 days in, baby. I'm gonna give you pros and cons, man, and a couple examples. Pros, they got the loads. You can get the miles. You know, they pay like they weigh when you can. As far as long as you can keep that truck going, as long as you don't play around getting the loads where they need to be, you'll be alright. As a lease driver, you need to get a minimum of 2,800 miles. Anything under that, you basically working for minimum wage. Cons: no communication, no concern for the drivers, lack of information, and a garbage orientation. And I say that to say this. A lot of things that I've came across, you draw like being in breakdown, that wasn't explained in orientation. Maintenance, PMs, preventive maintenance on the truck, the fuel solution, what to expect when you get to the shippers, things like that, right? These things are what I'm having an issue with. How to communicate and get a better understanding when you call dispatch. What to do when you have a problem that's not agreeable with you with dispatch. Like, there's no grievance process. Like, you call dispatch, I'm gonna give you a prime example. Let me give you two. First, okay, I break down again. My third time in a month breaking down. This time it was my DEF fuel, right? The gauge dropped, even though the tank was full, the gauge dropped and said it was empty. So then the truck decreased in power and then started telling me breakdown. All of the service engine lights came on, they turned red, and then when I call roadside assistance, they like, yeah, you don't want to keep running it, it'll do engine damage. How that's possible, I don't know, because all the DEF does is spray your exhaust fumes to bring the contaminants down before it's released into the air. Why it would do damage to the engine, your guess is as good as mine. I'm just assuming it's hardwired electronically to ensure you don't run and put smog out in the atmosphere. The only thing I can think about. So, go to the Kenworth shop. Within an hour of me being there, they did a diagnostic. Dude told me it was a sensor. He say, hey, if we got one in stock, we'll have you out of here today. A little while later, he tell me they got one. They'll have me out of there today. Cool. I got there at 8 o'clock. They gave me my keys at 5. But in between that time, and I really didn't think about it at the time, and this Kenworth was one of the nicer Kenworths. I've been to two of them. This one here was nice. They got the leather reclining seats. I done ordered me some Grubhub and then went to sleep. So a guy coming in wake me up. He said, man, you work for Trans Am? I'm like, yeah. I'm thinking he worked for Kenworth and finna hand me my keys. He like, Trans Am sent me to get your load. So they sent the relay. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. They'll get me another load. You know what I'm saying? I go to the truck, get the paperwork, give it to him. Boom, that was done. So 5 o'clock, I get my keys. I call them like, hey, I'm ready to roll. What's happening? What? We had you in maintenance until Saturday. What? Issue, communication, and follow-up, man. Like, nobody thought to call the Kenworth to ask, hey, what's going on with the truck? How long would it be in maintenance? Somebody in their infinite wisdom just decided the truck was going to be in breakdown until Saturday. Mind you, this is Thursday. And to make matters worse, even if I'd have left the next day, which was Friday, I still could have got the load there on time. So either his driver manager decided to take my load and give him the miles, or they just said, fuck me, or both. Because all they had to do, I knew within an hour of being there that I was gonna be gone by the end of well, not the end of the day, sometime that day. And here's my second issue. Empathy and understanding for the driver. First of all, these trucks are being driven by other people. It's probably been 10 other people in them before you. That's part of my problem with the PMs. You're responsible for the preventive maintenance, but somebody else has drove those miles. Like I had to get my cabin air filter changed. They get changed every 6 months. I wasn't in the truck a month before it had to be changed, $400. These are things that come out of my maintenance account. The APU oil change, $300. Every 75,000 miles. I haven't put 10,000 miles on the truck. But yet, this is finance that comes out of my, my maintenance account. You see what I'm saying? Like, that don't even make sense. And I clearly understand that it's not reasonable to ask the company to replace everything every time a driver gets out. And they say they gonna prorate it. I highly doubt it because my maintenance account been zilch, been getting hit. But the truck breaks down for warranty issues. Every time I've been in breakdown, it's been a warranty issue. It hasn't been normal wear and tear, nothing. And I doubt that it would be wear and tear because they do the preventive maintenance every time. Whatever the manufacturer set the preventive maintenance at is what they're going to stick to. Once that mileage hit, they're going to call you and tell you, get that truck into a shop. If you don't, they're going to stop you from getting loads. So, first of all, y'all got me. Y'all seeing I ain't making no money. I just came out of breakdown, and here I am in breakdown the third time within a month. Y'all see my checks. Y'all know I don't have no money. So I called ahead of time like, hey, in case I have to get a hotel, y'all know I don't have no money. Won't y'all cash advance me for the hotel, and then I pay it back? Oh, somebody will call you back. Nobody ever called back, but I went through that 2 times before, so I should have known that was going to be an issue. So the empathy for the driver, it's like, I'm out here driving 7 days a week, man. I've been out here 3 months straight. Ain't been home. Can't go home because I ain't got no money. You see what I'm saying? Well, I'm going home next week for show. So if this truck would have went into breakdown longer than a day, if they'd been like, we don't know when we gonna fix it, I'd have took a plane home. That would have been the end of that conversation. There was no way I was gonna spend another dime of my money in a hotel for some things I'm not responsible for. It'd be a difference if I've been in the truck 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months and it break, 3 months in the truck. And I already, had to go to the shop twice, and then they give me another truck and it go right into the shop 2 days later. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't expect me to be responsible for these things. And this is why I say it's a garbage orientation, because maintenance was not explained. How to go about maintenance, your breakdown pay, you're responsible for the hotel. None of this is explained in orientation. These are things you're going to have to learn as you go. That's a problem. And then they act like you already knew this. How, when it was never explained to me? It's nowhere in writing. You see what I'm saying? So for me, that's my biggest issue in there. Because, let's see, I had an $1,800 check, and that was because the first 2 weeks, your lease are free. So run your ass off, okay? Because the lease payment is going to be about $1,000 a week. So actually, that would have only been an $800 check. I had an $1,100 check combined with the bonus. If you run from 30 days from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, you're going to get $500. They're going to give you your $625 sign-on bonus. You get $2,500 sign-on bonus. They're going to break it up into 4 payments of $625. And last month, they took it because I was in breakdown, and they continued to charge me the $1,000 for the lease payment. So they took my bonus last month, even though I was in breakdown. Then, when they gave me the $107 for the breakdown pay that should have bagged up last week and put some money in my pocket, they applied it to the second week. And, I think I got $39. So I had an $1,800 check, $1,100 check with a bonus, a $900 check, and then this check here was $785. It's gonna be $8 because they didn't give me a gate fee that I paid for, so it'd be $800. That's four decent, just decent checks. Well, the 1,800 was super decent. Four out of 3 months, four checks. The rest of them three something, four something. And like I say, that $39 one, that $159 one when I was in breakdown. You see what I'm saying? Like, and these things wouldn't have upset me had I have known what I was like now. The little bit of money I'm getting out of these checks now, I'm saving in case I had to pay for a hotel. If I'd have known this in the beginning, because see, the orientation in Tampa, man, if you go to Tampa, listen, man, you got to tell them you need lease, because maybe they do it different in Olathe in Texas, but then they try to tell us later that Tampa is for company drivers, and we decided to go lease later. Nobody even asked us what we wanted to do until Friday, and we had been there Monday. I didn't come here. I didn't, the recruiter didn't ask me what I wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? I'm thinking we rolling with the flow, let they know what they doing. So we basically had a company driver orientation. So the hotels, the scales, all the things they told us, they was basically talking to company drivers. And then on Friday they asked who was going lease and who was going company. What? Like, you know what I'm saying? So all that was just useless information for all of us that weren't leasing. Everything we've learned out here being in situations. That's part of my problem with Trans Am. A lot of this stuff just wasn't explained, and you ended up finding it out later. Another issue. So, okay, with the breakdown, like I say, they just decided I was gonna be in breakdown until Saturday. Like, nobody followed up to call Kenworth for nothing. That's a big issue. Lack of communication and lack of concern from the driver. Once you're not driving, you're shit to them, man. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is. So then my second issue was, I get the load. I had to go get a trailer. So they deadheaded me to get the trailer. Now I got the load. There's empty miles to the shipper, loaded miles to the receiver. So it was like 1,049 miles to the receiver loaded, and it was 169 miles empty. So I'm like, okay, that's 1,200 miles. Mind you, this is Friday. This is the beginning of a brand new pay week. So I'm like, okay, 1,200 miles. And I just filled up the truck on my last run because I was under a load. So I got a full tank of gas now. So I'm thinking, okay, this 1,200 miles, that's the lease payment. And I got a couple of dollars in my pocket. And then the rest of the week is all me. So when I put the address in my GPS, I don't know if Trans Am the only company that do this. I doubt it. They don't pay address to address. They pay zip code to zip code. So I'm used to losing 30, 40 miles in a run. Like, what can you do? So this one it said 169 miles is what they paying me, but when I put it in the GPS, it said 270 miles. I said, whoa, that's 100 miles. I can't eat 100 miles. You draw? So I call him, I let him know. Dude say, no, man, Google says 178 and 200 miles, you know what I'm saying, with another route. So while I'm talking to him, I Google it, he tell me the exact same thing. So I said, okay, maybe I'm tripping. You know what I mean? So I set my triple domino on my truck. I went by the Garmin, and I had my truck. I got Smart Trucker Route on my phone. It's $15 a month or $56 a year. I paid the $56 early on for the whole year. $15 a month just didn't seem feasible. So I paid it off for the whole year. It's a good app. If you can't find parking at nighttime at these rest areas and these truck stops, it can show you Walmart with truck parking. You can always find a Walmart somewhere within your route that you can park. You just got a trip plan. If you're going to be driving past 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, 8, I wouldn't even attempt to even try to find a truck stop or a rest area. Find you a Walmart. But So I got the smart trucker route. So I'm like, okay, maybe it'll knock the miles off later. Maybe you need an update or something. I ain't. So I drive, and sure enough, 270 miles on the barrelhead. So I call back. This lady answers the phone. First, she tried to goddamn it bullshit me. Well, they paid you for the deadhead, and the deadhead is included into your empty miles. Lady, who you think you talking to? Deadhead was because I didn't have a trailer. Empty is from the trailer to the shipper. Loaded is from the shipper to the receiver. When that didn't work, she resorted to play with my intelligence. Well, you're a lease driver. We don't pay for your miles that you run extra. You probably went in a circle. I said, what? 100 miles? Listen, man. If a driver runs 100 miles outside their route, you need to get your keys back from that mister, because he the dumbest motherfucker ever. You can go 10, 20 miles, wrong turn or something, or a construction detour, but 100 miles? First of all, without the GPS, I got a motor carrier's atlas. I can read a map. I ain't finna drive no 100 miles knowing I'm responsible for the fuel. Like, instead of her trying to look into it and figure out what's going on, because I figured out that with Google, it's going to give you a car route. This is why there's a motor carrier's atlas. This is why there's a trucker GPS. Because there's certain places trucks can't go. Low bridges, no trucks allowed, what have you. You draw, and Google's going to give you a car route. So that probably explain why it gave me a route 100 miles outside. But instead of her trying to look into it, she basically tried to put it off in my lap. And the first thing I'm going to tell you about going lease with Trans Am. Anytime you have a problem, the first thing they're going to tell you is you're a lease driver and you're responsible. That's a Jedi mind trick, because you have no control. The best thing that Trans Am can do for lease drivers is get rid of the fucking dispatchers. Fuck them. Give us a load board, let us pick our own loads within y'all network and run. That's the best thing they can do, because the dispatchers ain't worth a fuck. Every time you call, they don't know something, they don't know what to tell you, and nothing. Just get the load there, man. Like, they're really not there to solve your problem. To a certain extent, I can understand that, because you got over 100 truckers and they all call. The only reason why they will call is if they got a problem. So if they all calling for problems, you're just trying to smooth it over and get to the next call, or smooth it over and get them off the call and continue on their way. They're really not there to solve your problem. They're not going to solve any immediate problem. Every problem I've had, either time has went by and I just let it go, or I figured out another way to get it done. Like, I'm still waiting on phone calls. Nobody still called me back as of yet. You draw? So like I say, this one lady, she was a driving manager. She should leave the phones alone, because she was just horrible at her smoothing over skills. First, you try to play me like deadhead and load and empty miles are the same. Then when that don't work, you try to put it off on me like I drove 100 miles outside to get to one destination. If I could have found another way to go, I would have went. Think I'd have just drove 100 miles for nothing? I told her, look at the Garmin, you can track my miles. The Garmin gave me the exact same route Smart Trucker route gave me. So I drove 270 miles. Damn what Google's saying. You see what I'm saying? Google make mistakes just like any other computer system. It's not perfect. But instead of trying to understand that things are not absolute, it seems like every time I've called, they always try to argue with me like I'm doing something wrong, or they just can't help me. So, hey, what are you going to do? So I'm understanding why people walk away, why they earned the reputation that they have. They don't give a fuck about you as a driver. Get that through your head. Get in, run as many miles as you can, get your experience, and get on. If you're expecting them to help you out of a situation, to solve a situation for you, you are mistaken badly. You're going to find yourself in a situation like me, getting upset. Like I say, had I have known this information prior, it wouldn't have been upsetting. But it's one of those things like, do you hate like when your parents are right about something they said years ago that's happening to you right now? My mom always told me, don't take the easy way out. I took Trans Am because I didn't want to be on a truck with a trainer for 6 weeks. Now I ain't making no money. At least I'd have been on the truck with a trainer for 6 weeks. I'd have made a guaranteed $700 a week, and then made a little more money after that. You see what I'm saying? I had 4 decent checks in 3 months. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of that was because of the breakdown, but a lot of that was how they do things. You know, when they give you a load, you sit on. They sent me on the load to Texas that I sat on for 5 days, Memorial Weekend. 5 days on the load that I could have had delivered in 2. Like, that took my whole week. Now I only got 2 more days to make money, and the second load was only 700 miles. And for the longest, I'm known because I done talked to other drivers who say they get 3,000 plus miles a week. I can only get a maximum of 3 loads a week because it takes so long to pick up. And I'm proactive. I'll call the shipper, I'll call the receiver, and see if I can pick up and drop early. If it's a drop and hook, oh, I'm showing up early out the gate. Ain't no question about it. You know what I mean? But if it's a live load or a live unload, I'll call and ask how early can I get there, because I'm the type of individual, once I get my load, I start out getting there. I won't, before the time it has to be there, I want to either be at a truck stop or a rest area. I want to be somewhere where I'm no more than about 20, 30 minutes away from my drop off. I don't want to be still 2-3 hours away before I pull over and rest. And even with the COVID-19, I probably ran my 70 pass about 3 times. So I'm real clock management. I only stay in the bunk 10 hours. I'm up and I'm out. You know what I mean? And I plan my days, 8 hours. I know I got to do a 30-minute break. I know I got to do pre-trip and post-trip. So I'm only driving for 8.5 hours every day. You know what I mean? So I'm very good. Well, I'm not very good. I've learned to be good with clock management. You draw, because you'll lose time. Like in the beginning, I will forget when I get to the shipper or the receiver to go into off duty or go into yard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm parking, waiting on other trucks, sitting in line to get in the gate. All that little bit of minutes, man, run your clock down. And then by the time you realize, oh, I should have been in off duty, you can't pull driving time back. Once you drove and you didn't change your duty, your clock is running. So time management is essential, and I'm on top of that. Getting the load there on time, safely, not damaged, ain't kill nobody to get there. So I can't understand how I'm out here for 3 months straight and can't make no money, even with the breakdown. They have the miles. It's just the dates associated with the miles. The first month, man, it was, man, gravy out here. Now it just seemed like, I don't know, I'm gonna call Monday and see if I can demonstrate with somebody and see if we could work something out as to why I can't get better miles. I get the loads there. You know, I run my face off. You know, there's no issue. I'm safe when I'm doing it. Like, how come I can't see 3,000 miles a week? And I get it. You know, it's hundreds of drivers. So the few drivers that's been with them a few years probably get all the gravy loads, and the rest of us new jacks coming on the scene, we expendable. I get that. You know, I do. But at this point, you should be able to take a look at how I run and how I run my loads to ensure, you know, that I'm happy, but it's not upon them to do that. So it was just a bad decision for why I picked the company. I didn't pick the company because they got loads. I didn't pick the company because they were good. I didn't pick the company because they had good reviews. I picked the company because they didn't have trainers. I didn't have to be on the truck with one for 6 weeks. And that was more important to me than the things that now happen to be super important. Like, I got babies at home that's waiting on me, man. You know, and I can't go home without no money. Been gone too long. You see what I'm saying? So for me, Trans Am, 120 days in, the worst part is the orientation, because it's a lack of information, lack of communication, and a lack of problem solving on the dispatchers and driver managers' part. You see, it's just a bad idea all the way around. It's for lease drivers. I don't know what it is for company. But for me, the only thing that I can see that would make me stay with this company is for them to get rid of the dispatchers and just let us pick our own loads. That way, there's nobody to blame. There's no reason I should have to call and not get any solutions. Then, when I can't get no solutions, there's nobody else who can override. It's just like when you have a customer service problem and the person you're speaking to won't give you the answers that you're looking for or the resolution that you're looking for. You ask to speak to their manager, the supervisor, and the supervisor usually has the power to override the normal procedure based on your particular situation. That's not capable. And there's companies out here that guarantee 1,300 miles and things like that, but you have to have a year experience, 2 years experience. So, it's not that I don't understand I have to pay my dues before things can go my way. It's just these are simple things. Like I say with the Kenworth, all they had to do was pick up the phone and call and ask what was going on with the truck and how long it was going to be in breakdown before they made a decision to put me in maintenance until Saturday and have somebody come snatch my load. You know what I mean? The thing with the mileage, the thing with the breakdown pay. Like it's just a constant. Every time I call for a legitimate problem, they're just not interested. Well, I take that back. My driver manager, she was real cool, man. She helped me get my property back. She tried to, work with me here and there. But I'm never talking to her. I'm talking to other people. You see what I'm saying? That always tell me they sending her an email. And I would imagine if she got 50, 60 other drivers on her call, it's probably hard to read 50, 60 emails a day. And I've called back 3, 4, 5 times. So, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. I just think for lease drivers, best thing Trans Am could do is get rid of their dispatch for them. Give us a load board and keep it with how the planners just put the loads out there and just let us get them. Because they're absolutely no help for when you have problems out here. None. And they don't care because it's not their money, it's not their time that's being tampered with. It's yours. And like I say, they get offended when you get mad. It's because this is your money. This is how you plan to feed your family, man. Take care of your financial needs in this country. Because this is America, man. You get paid for what you do know and you pay for what you don't know. So as a CDL driver, I know how to drive. I should be getting paid for that. You see what I'm saying? So 120 days in for Trans Am. All the thing I'm going to tell y'all, man, is you new truckers coming in. Be prepared to come in. Get you some knowledge. When you're in orientation, ask every question you have. Breakdown pay. What are you responsible for on the truck? Like, I didn't know within the first 30 days anything that we found wrong with the truck. We should have said something. Windshield wipers for me is an issue. They just cheap as shit. Just ask a lot of questions, man, because they're not gonna volunteer you that information, man. So my thing is, I understand on one hand what's going on, but a lot of what's upsetting me could have been avoided with information. The more you know, the better you ride. Peace.